The reflection in the small, forgotten town of Eldridge Hollow, there stood an old Victorian house, its once grand facade now cloaked in layers of peeling paint and creeping vines. It had a reputation, one that whispered of hauntings and shadows that danced in the corners of the eye. Locals spoke of the house with hushed tones, steering clear of its decaying gates. But for Clara, the allure of the mysterious was too enticing to resist. Clara had recently inherited the house from a distant relative she had never known. The first night, as she roamed the dimly lit rooms, the air thick with dust and the scent of mildew, she felt a chill creep up her spine. She dismissed it as nerves. After all, the house had stood empty for years. With determination, she set about making it a home, determined to uncover its secrets. As the days turned into weeks, strange occurrences began to unravel her resolve. It started with whispers, a soft, almost imperceptible sound that seemed to float through the air, curling around her like ivy. Then there was the mirror in the hallway, an ornate relic that had once served as a proud centerpiece. Every time Clara passed it, she noticed something unsettling, a fleeting glimpse of a figure dressed in a weather-worn police uniform, eyes dark and hollow, standing just behind her. Each time she turned, the reflection would shift slightly, the figure closer, until she could nearly feel its breath on her neck. Yet, when she spun around, the hallway remained empty, save for the shadows cast by flickering candles. One night, lulled into a restless sleep by the ghostly echoes of the house, Clara awoke with a start. The clock struck midnight, the sound reverberating in the quiet stillness. She felt compelled to approach the mirror, its surface glimmering like a portal to another world. Heart pounding, she reached out, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the cool glass. Suddenly, the figure appeared again, more vivid than before. It stood behind her, its expression a twisted mask of sorrow and anger. But this time, Clara didn't turn away. Instead, she locked eyes with the apparition, demanding answers. "What do you want?" she whispered, her voice barely a breath. The figure moved closer, its mouth forming silent words. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over her as she leaned in, trying to decipher the ghostly message. And then, in a moment of clarity, she understood, this was no ordinary spirit, it was the ghost of a policeman who had vanished without a trace decades ago, searching for closure in a world that had forgotten him. But as she held her gaze, a realization struck her, the emotion in his eyes was not just sorrow, it was a desperate plea for her help. In that instant, the mirror shattered, shards flying like deadly stars. Clara stumbled backward, and in the chaos, she felt a sudden pull, an insatiable darkness enveloping her as she was drawn into the mirror's remnants. When the townsfolk of Eldridge Hollow finally ventured near the old house, they found it silent, the air heavy with a lingering unease. The house stood untouched, but Clara was nowhere to be found. Only the cracked mirror remained, a haunting reminder of her final confrontation. But if one looked closely, they might see something unsettling in the reflection. Two figures now stood together. The ghostly policeman and a woman whose expression was one of terror mixed with reluctant acceptance, forever trapped in the shadows of the haunted house at midnight.